Martin is counting out his first hand here after what I assume would be the mulligan. Let's see what he got. That looks like... Well, there's some decent cards in there, but a poor setup, I would say. Probably not what he was hoping for. So, Jakob is making a 3-card setup. The question is whether or not Martin is going to set up any characters at all at this point. Obviously, you could probably play... You could take the risk and play Daenerys on your setup, but there's always the threat of marched to the wall coming at that first plot. He could obviously also marshal that newly made lord. I didn't really see what he played there. It looks like he played his newly made lord there, and he won't be able to trigger it, but he got at least some icons on the board. So we've got from Jakob, we've got the Hound and the Tickler and some economy in the King's Road. They both got King's Road each. And drawing back up. Now, arranging his tokens there. I can't really see any tokens from Jakob. He might not play with tokens arranged on the board like that. Martin's always playing with his Djurgårdens IF tokens, I think that is. He might kill me because I might be wrong and it's some other team that he's playing from, but I think it's the Djurgårdens IF as he's coming from Stockholm. Is it Norrköping? Really? Alright, so it's obviously, apparently it's Norrköping's IFK Norrköping, which is a very different team. Alright. First plots revealed. We've got Karma of Westeros from Martin, and we've got... sorry? So Martin is considering initiative here, and it seems that he... Did Martin take initiative? Sorry? Did Martin take initiative? Yes. All right. All right, so let's try and get back into the game here. Martin takes his 5 gold.
I'd recognize those hairy arms from a mile away, Jakob.
Jag är inne då?
Ja.
Oj.
Vad väntar vi? Vad väntar de på? Har de fått tid eller?
Jag tror jag. Är detta setup?
Nej, de har inte gjort någonting. Right, so it would seem that Jakob is going fast and he uses his King's Road to play out of Varys. Obviously, he's very intimidated by the board state on Martin's side of the table. I can only assume that it's very scary looking down.
Yeah, he seemed nervous.
Yeah,
he's very shaky hands.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, he's not really a tournament player.
No,
Jakob.
not really.
More of a casual guy.
Is this his first tournament?
I think so.
Yeah, all right. No, well, seriously though, Jakob is, I can only assume he's setting up for whatever that comes later, to have that threat available to him.
Yep.
And seeing how Martin really has no board presence at this point, he can't really threaten a Varys, really.
Sure.
So getting some econ in a reducer, and Martin, he's not having the best hand there, Martin. He isn't. That milk has no real target, except for maybe Varys. Yep, and that's what he does.
Yep.
And well, he's got a reducer in hand, using his King's Road to get, I can only assume, Daenerys Targaryen on the table, which will take virtually all his economy. Well, he plays the reducer, obviously, to keep at least one of those gold. Using the reducer and playing... Well, he's got that Dracarys in hand that he's obviously eager to use. He could play Daenerys and still have that gold available to him, but he doesn't. Instead, he plays the new Doria, I think her name is Doria, yeah? So, I'm not sure how the econ went down there. He used the King's Road and a reducer for Doria. That would seem weird to me. So 5. He played 3 gold worth of characters using a reducer, a King's Road reducer, and 3 coins. Yeah. Something's not absolutely correct in the math of that, but it's not really my place to say. Jakob is considering initiating a challenge with the Hound. So he would get an unopposed on any military challenge at this point. So taking it a bit slow here, considering all the possibilities, I can only assume. So contrary to jokes aside, Jakob and Martin has obviously faced each other tons of times, both casually in the Stockholm meta. They're both regularly playing each other at Dragon's Lair, I'd say at least once a week maybe. Jakob has quite some experience, obviously, if in case you didn't already know. So that's the unopposed... This is a little bit weird. Looks like it's an unopposed power challenge, and then it's a blocked intrigue challenge. I'm not sure what's happening here, actually. Well, challenge is over. Alright, so that... Okay. And that was the tickler being used.
Okay.
Huh?
White Walker, first player token.
White Walker is the first player token. Okay, so that the mascot you saw exchanging there is the first player token. So it's just on the edge of being visual in the upper corner next to the Lannister house card. So Jakob has to discard some cards for reserves. Seeing how he's playing the Kings of Winter, everyone has one less reserve. Now, Martin discarded Tears, I think, for his reserve, to make his reserve. And we're considering next round, next plots. It would seem that... I'm not sure why... No, Martin's still considering discarding, and he decides not to keep that Daenerys. Probably too expensive at this point. Seeing how Kings of Winter will deny him one of his gold on each plot he reveals. So Martin picks Calling the Banners, which would grant him 5 gold as it stands. He's got those 2 reducers out, the reducer character and the reducer location, effectively giving him access to 7 gold, but still probably too expensive for him to keep Daenerys. Now, that's first Snows of Winter from Jakob, which will expel most of Martin's board. And seeing how Martin discarded Daenerys, Jakob probably assumes that he's not keeping heavy hitters in hand. And then obviously first Snow is a good choice.
Yep.
Also, kind of a staple from this kind of deck that Jakob is playing, the Lannister Kings of Winter. Same would go for most Kings of Winter decks would play First Snow in order to kind of, if people try to flood the board with the cheap stuff to make the reserve for their first plot, then you can First Snow, second plot, and have them put basically everything back in hand.
Yep.
Right, so Somalis back with me here. So this game is slowly creeping forward.
Yep.
Both players are very considering every move very carefully.
Yes.
So Martin is perhaps marshalling now. It looked like he was taking some coins there, which means that Jakob didn't actually marshal anything.
Switch to his Martin's hand.
Here we got Martin's hand.
Yep.
Yep. So that's it. Martin.
Just det.
Alright, so Martin's holding Asha, which would stay on the board together with the newly made Lord, so he'd be able to keep something, but he would get no reduction on Asha, seeing how she's a cracking card.
Yeah. Looks like he had 2 Dracarys in hand. But
Yeah, he is.
No
He's
dragons, so he can't use them.
So they're just taking up space. Obviously, he doesn't want to discard them, and the dragons are fairly cheap. So once he draws into the dragons, they will come in handy. But yeah, at the moment, I'm not too happy about Martin's board state. This is a horrible board state.
Yeah, I think so. It's and considering how the first snow is going to hit him, he doesn't want to leave himself exposed for.
Oh,
okay,
Jakob is still marshalling.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, so it's hard to follow what these guys are doing at this point. That first marshalling phase, I must admit, I was completely lost to what Martin was doing.
Yeah, I think Martin was starting to count his income while Jakob was still marshalling, maybe.
That could be it.
That he started doing that. That's what I make out of it, because Martin starts his marshalling, so we'll see what happens now.
All right, so he's going for some Targaryen character here.
Yeah. Dropping something big.
Well, he doesn't have anything else than Mira Mazdur, and he could afford her, and she would stay on the table. But he's going second.
Yeah.
So he would have to lose. Well, obviously, Jakob won't be able to use any of his ambush, because he used all his gold in the marshalling, and so here's where First Snows of Winter hits, and well, there's no red icons on the table, so Mira Mazdur isn't in any immediate danger, I think. Jakob plays first. 2 goal actually. He could get a burned men on the table